Hi there, I am the CRM Ninja, and on today's episode of the Oops Factor, we have the marvelous Ben Banks. Welcome to the show, Ben.
Thanks, everyone.
Everyone? Oh, okay. I thought it was just me here, but okay, right.
Thanks,
You must.
EY. There might be people listening later on, so I thought I'd say hi, everyone.
Oh, hi everyone. Right, I don't know. I
I'm
thought you
s-
may have noticed my evil clone, my my
I'm
my, my
social.
good clone. Right, social is
I
good.
like your tent. That's all I'm going to say. I like your tent.
This is the tent of tranquility. And the reason that I'm sitting here in the tent of tranquility, apart from the fact that it's beautiful weather today, like I've spent the day outside, is because I understand that you love camping.
I do actually. I very much love camping since I was a little boy.
See, tent, camping, to
Camping,
go
yes.
together. So
hmm
tell me about your love of camping.
Okay. So I grew up in Scotland, and in Scotland, most every year kids went to school and they would go to France, or they would go to, I don't know where would they go to. Maybe Switzerland or whatever it was. Those school trips that everyone went to. They probably
Okay.
cost around 200 quid every time. My kids were broke. My parents were broke, so I never got a chance to go to any of that. But my parents were able to pay £25 every weekend that those school trips was on to let me go and camp in Shetland. Now, Shetland camping
Ooh,
compared to your little tranquility tent is very, very different. It's very barren. It's right on a cliff edge, and there's a lot more to do than just sitting there lighting a fire and having a beer. And obviously, I was too young to have a beer.
obviously. And did you get a Shetland pony when you went camping
Actually,
there?
actually no, but I did look after my dad's best friend Shetland pony for 2 years called Dobby, and that's not because of
Oh,
Harry Potter. It was called Dobby, and the thing ate my Barber jacket. It actually ate my coat. It's very cheeky.
it ate your coat.
Yeah, it ate my coat. It ate my jacket. If anyone knows what Barber jacket is, very leather, very well waterproof.
Very, very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
But I guess better to eat your jacket than eat your tent.
Yes. As in, it was under my what? Say that again. Repeat.
It would be better fit to eat your jacket than eat your tent, surely.
Well, yeah, true. Because especially when it gets wet, you don't want to get cold.
Indeed, indeed. So, where else have you been camping? Anywhere very interesting or spectacular, or just to Shetland?
I went up to the Cairngorms in Scotland. I went up Ben Nevis.
Oh,
I've done a couple of to like the Isle of Man. There's been a couple of places I've gone. Funny thing is, until I was about 28, I never had a passport, so everyone can know that.
okay.
And so camping was my kind of thing, because I was like, this is nice. Britain's great, but the funny thing is, I never went to Wales, and I went to Snowdon. I never went to any other kind of like mountain inside of Scotland, but I did go in the army for 4 years. So camping and the wildness has been kind of my thing for a long time.
Got it, got it. But Scotland, I mean, let's face it, Scotland is not short of mountains. There are
No,
there are quite a few mountains. In fact, parts of Scotland are just mountains, so
correct.
plenty
That's
to
right.
choose from.
Yes, and funny, growing up in Shetland, I don't know anyone on the call who knows Shetland, but it's like I said, it's not as mountainy as Scotland, but there's no trees. It's very much you have to kind of get used to the wilderness and the wind, and kind of get adjusted to that. And I was there for 18 years, so you get used to
Wow,
that.
sounds like Iceland.
Yeah, not as bad. There's no snow. There's no sun either. So like it's in the mix between Iceland and Britain. It's like in the middle. About 21 degrees is just summer, and everyone's pretty happy with that.
21 degrees is not bad.
Yeah, well, maybe 2 times a year is not bad, but
Well, you know what they say: a clock is right. A stop clock is right twice a day.
correct. That's right. And eating 1 Mars bar a day keeps the doctor away. I haven't had a Mars bar in 10 years.
I'm not going to ask about your doctor visits.
You should.
So, are there any places that you would like to go camping in anywhere around the world? Do you have like a short list or a bucket list of places you'd like to go camping at?
I do. New Zealand is one, probably because I've got a
Uh,
massive love of the wilderness, Lord of the Rings, the Shire. I kind of want to see that kind of the wilderness. And the other place, which is very odd, but I really want to go to Alaska. I've
Alaska.
watched all those. Yeah, I've watched all those programs on like Discovery Channel and National Geographic about these like families that grow up in the wild and off the grid and stuff, and I find it fascinating. I like
They do
chopping wood
have they do have ice and snow in Alaska. You are aware of this?
because it's called Iceland, right?
No, in
It's a joke.
Alaska.
They do. I know. They go through some mental seasons. To be fair, until I moved away from England and lived in America for a while, I never actually saw a season because
Oh,
you know
okay.
UK seasons are by the by. It's like you get a really hot summer, you get really bad winter. In the US, you get an autumn, a spring, a fall, whatever you want to call it. You get the full stack. You know.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, I mean, here in the UK, mostly the season is it can always rain.
It does a lot.
It
Today,
does a
though,
lot.
very nice day for everyone in England, so enjoy.
Beautiful weather. Beautiful weather it's been today. So, moving on from camping and the weather to the oops factor, what do you have to share with us today?
Well, I kind of sent you a message. Sorry, the dogs in my house. I kind of sent you a message about superiority complex, which is, funnily enough, very close to my heart. And maybe, do you mind if I explain why?
Go for it.
I think, I think for me, right? I never knew I was going to get into tech. I was a jazz musician. I played music. I went to uni and studied, jazz honors, BMOS honors. I came out of all of that and then went into music. Left music, went into the army thinking that was my escape. And then from that, I got into business because I was like, well, you can't make much money in jazz, you can't make much money in music. So unless you're, I don't know, Jimmy Fox or someone like that. So I decided to go into business, knock on doors for 3 years, got out of that. But the one true factor that's been until very recently, actually, the one true factor that's been with me is anyone that's really good at what they do. So they've got loads of intelligence in their role or their field. They're really high up and well renowned. I've always looked at that person and put them on a pedestal. And
Okay.
I'm not talking about this to, make other people do the same thing. I'm talking about other people because my oops factor was putting someone, a manager, for a good 5 years on a pedestal like my father. And my superiority, complex came from my dad. All right. And I'm not
Okay.
embarrassed to talk about it because people will leave their family home, they'll go into business, but they carry on traits that they've learned as a kid, and that's normal. Well, you learn, you hear what people do and you kind of follow suit, and that's what you learn behavior. But it's different to other kind of syndromes because you want to impress someone because you're good, but then you also
Yeah.
completely question yourself. It's not the same as imposter syndrome, everyone always gets those two confused. I have no problem with imposter syndrome. My problem is looking at someone else who's maybe a bit better than me. I don't envy them, I want to be them, but because I want to be them, I put myself in the wrong mindset. Now my oops factor is I've done that most of my life, and the only time that's changed is probably the last year after with COVID. I'm not even kidding.
Okay. And why did that happen like that? If you're saying gone through your life and saying, you always, people who you aspire to be, you always put them in like, I'll use the word sort of like a god position because I've done that myself.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd say. I think
so
I know what
so what changed?
I
How did
didn't.
that change?
I can talk about this, why I think the thing that changed for me was over COVID. I left my job before COVID thinking, yeah, I'll get another job, and then this whole situation happened, furloughs, whatever you want to call it, right? So
Yeah.
I was in a bad situation, and then I started, funnily enough, like any other person would. I was like in a good position. I'd make my way up over, almost a 10-year period, and then all of a sudden my confidence went to the rock bottom. Funnily enough, the superiority complex that's always been my problem in life came back, and I started going to all these people and doing interviews, but not being myself, trying to put a persona on to impress that person. And
Ah.
funnily enough, before I got the job where I am now, I actually massively screwed up my interview. I didn't screw up the tech. I built a business process flow in Dynamics. I showed the CEO how it all worked, but the problem that I portrayed was I didn't come across as confident with it. So I didn't. It's like I believed in it because I thought I was, and this is the imposter syndrome versus the superiority complex. I can't even say that word, but this is the difference between the two. I thought I was a failure. I thought I was faking it. I wasn't, because I actually smashed the BPF, business process flow. I just know how to deliver it because my confidence has been knocked. That guy saw a chance in me. All right, give me a chance for
Okay.
2 weeks. Didn't maybe give me the best representation in his company or the way he handled things. So, but another company came along and went, we know what you've done, come over here. And I think for the first month it was a bit scary, but then all of a sudden I've just come into my own. That superiority complex has gone away because I believe in myself now. But it's because I believe, and the reason why, that first guy, when I was in COVID, told me to go away and study myself. And someone like you, EY, and Chris Hunterford and all those other guys on the Badger over the last year, they said the same thing. We love you, Ben, but you keep talking about this, wanting to be someone or wanting to be this goal, or this guy's amazing, but you're not actually going away and just doing, getting stuck in, doing your thing. So I think my message really, I'm not trying to give a message to everyone, but for me personally, I had to realize that no one else is going to do it. No one else is going to do it. The guy who's above me, the guy who I respect, I have to just focus on me being better than I ever have been. And if I do that, I will get better personally and educationally. I know that sounds like a cliche, but it was true. That's why I
No,
think
but you're right. It is, it is an important message. Look, we all have people that we look up to, that we aspire to be, that would love them to be our mentors, or potentially they even are our mentors. We think they're amazing, they're incredible, but I could be that person. But each person has their own package, their own skills, their own weaknesses, their own background and history, which comes with it. And it's not about, you being Chris Huntingford, for example, or someone else. It's about you being the best that you can bring to it, because you'll rock that in a much better way than anyone else ever would.
But that's the thing. That's the thing you have to, and it's a really hard lesson actually. It took me a very, very, very long time. Like I'm 35 next week on Tuesday. Happy birthday to me, thank you very much. But the difference is I'm going to 35, and I still think I'm a young, sprightly lad and stuff like that. But at the same time, I feel like I've matured massively. And I'll say this, I even had a thing with you, EY, and so everyone knows. I looked at you and gone, this guy's amazing. He's like a fucking nice guy. Everyone likes him. Sorry, everyone's nice. Everyone looks at him, but he's just a human being. You give a shit. You care about people, just as they can. You care about people, but you also
We care about people. Okay, let's put it official. We all care about people.
100%, 100%.
But you're right, it is frightening, because you can look at somebody else and you can see where they are, especially when they're above you, they're the more points in their career or whatever it is. And you look at yourself and you think, how the heck am I supposed to take it out of myself? You have no idea of knowing.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, when you never actually, and I'll say this to you now, and I've said this before, you never judged me. You've probably gone, whoa, he's a bit crazy, he's a bit mental, which I am. And I'm proud to be mental, but there's a certain level of tonnage, if that is even a word, that you can do with that. But you and someone like Chris and Elder and all these people that I've learned to respect over the years, not just because of Microsoft, and it's more about the community. That the community didn't try and fix me. I saw the community, they were very accepting, but also going, but didn't say that to me. I recognized that in myself. I didn't need anyone to tell me, Ben, you're a bit crazy this week, or whatever it was. And I genuinely believe anyone that listens to this, EY, will look at themselves over the last year and go, what did either the Badger or that virtual pub or someone else do for me in that period of time? Because it wasn't easy for anyone.
It was not easy.
No, it really wasn't. But I feel like I've become better than I ever have been because of it. I really genuinely do.
So, I mean, it's really incredible and amazing to hear that. And, having known you for the time I have, you've come leaps and bounds. It's really great to see. What would your advice be to somebody who is trying to do that for themselves? I mean, for instance, did you get a mentor out there, somebody to coach you or help you through things and try and discover more about yourself?
Yes and no. I think my advice would be, I searched to either, this is really important, everyone, right? I searched to either be seen in the limelight, and so that people knew my name and people knew who I was, and I had this aspiration to be an MVP, and all these other good things. And one part of my agenda, and I didn't even know it, by the way, one part of my agenda was because of my lack of confidence and my insecurities and what was going on in my head at the time. I thought that being in the limelight and everyone knowing me and all that kind of stuff was the thing that you want to do, and you should be named an MVP and I should be awarded that. That's all gone. And to be fair, because of that and all the other things in my past where I thought I should be, everyone needs to know my name, it's rubbish. I've learned this, right? And this is my opinion, by the way. So if anyone else disagrees, that's completely fine. I believe you should never chase to be named or given something to help other people. If you're going out of your way to try and help other people be better than yourself, which is the first step, but also it's passing it on, or what the word is, paying it forward. If you pay it forward, then it doesn't really matter about you, because you're just doing a good thing. You're not trying to get acceptance or someone going, hey, you're amazing, dude. All you're doing is so other people start noticing that naturally, and it's a much nicer feeling than you going, hey, I just hit the number one and everyone should come and tell me high five. It's not sales 101 anymore. It's really about,
Yeah.
it's about being real. It's about being a human being and giving a shit about other people. And if you do that, trust me, people will flock to you. That's it.
That is right. The way that I always say it, and it's about a variety of things, both in our tech community and in the wider sense, is that the prizes and awards are really, really nice.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have shiny things, let's face it. But they're not the goals to aim at. It should be something incidental that's given to you for what you're doing anyway for it. You shouldn't be aiming at those awards and those prizes and that limelight. It's more, you do what you do, you do what you love.
Not to bring, I'm not going to try and bring, so please don't think I'm bringing religion into this. This is just a bit of a, from my past. I was brought up as a Mormon. My foster mom who took me in, who didn't even know me, was a Buddhist. All right. I'm not anything. I'm just happy to be who I am and respect other people and they give them the respect back. That's my motto, right? But she told me that, you know, it doesn't really matter what you do and what you get and how much riches you get, because you can't take any of it with you. It's materialistic. It will never leave this planet. So maybe you should try and do everything best internally, because that's the magic, that's the treasure.
Yeah.
Full stop.
That's a very powerful message.
There you go.
That's a very powerful message.
And that's how and that is how I feel, but it's only how I feel now. And I think everyone has to understand that you always, and I'm going to change. Like you, I've known you for over a year. I know I have changed. Like, I'm not going to go into my story here, but I've changed in so many ways, good, bad, ugly, whatever. And I'm not afraid to admit it, because I am still a good person, but I mess up. I also do good. And people like yourself and the people I mentioned on the call earlier, they're the kind of people that didn't judge. They just said, hey, maybe you should not have a good time right now. Chill the hell out. That's okay, because friends should tell someone when they're a little bit gone crazy, you know? And I want everyone to understand that you may be right, a little bit crazy. Use that to your advantage, or turn it into a positive rather than use it as a negative, getting drunk and all those kind of things. But my final message is the superiority complex. God, it's a huge thing. My dad scared the living daylights out of me for most of my life because of who he was, and it controlled my life. I'm going to say this right now, if you don't mind, EY on the call.
Whatever you want.
I met Chris Dorrington, sorry. And I met Chris when my first time, and I had the same superiority complex. I looked at them both and went, everyone looks at them and they're like these gods and they're amazing and all this kind of stuff. And the more and more I got to know them, more and more I felt like I was being the weird person in society. I was the one causing these kind of weird moments when we met and all kind of stuff. It's all gone now because I've got over that stuff, but they were probably going, looking at me going, is he all right? Seriously, because when I first met them at Scottish Summit 2029, I think it was, they both looked at me and were like, you know, I met you like last time with Keegan. This is the second time we met you. What's going on with you? And I look back at that time and it was quite embarrassing, but it's not now, because at least you can admit it. And I told them both that, and they both have nothing to worry about now with me.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I remember the first time that I've met various ones and how I feel, but no, definitely some really, really valuable messages, which I think our viewers hopefully would appreciate greatly.
I hope so. It's very, very nice. And thank you so much for letting me jump on your show. I really appreciate it.
It was wonderful to have you on the show, Ben. Viewers, we hope that you have taken these important lessons and internalizing them in your each individual way. Feel free to check out the rest of the Oops Factor playlist, subscribe to the channel, take a look at the blog. And if you'd like to come and appear on the Oops Factor, hit the link in the description below, put in your details, and I'll drop you a line to have you on the show. But above all, have a wonderful day.